Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift. How you doing? It is hump day. Happy hump day to you. Real Talk Wednesday right here on the night shift. Want to welcome you to the show, those who have it locked on Rotterbox.net, Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew on TuneIn Radio. Where else? PEMGTV.com. And all the Rotterbox affiliates, and of course, the home of the night shift, kevinstew.com. Glad to have you. Couldn't do it without you. I promise you I wouldn't even try to do it without you. So glad to make it through another night shift week. Marlon, as usual, top class show. Well done, sir. Thank you very much for taking the time out to do what you do, because nobody else can do it like you. When I say big ups to everybody else that are locked in, but in the quiet, yeah, you know who you are. Big ups to you. Glad to have you. Thank you. Everybody start to clap for me. Second star coming. Kicking it up with a little second star. Start to clap for me. Second star coming back, oh yeah. Everybody start to clap for me. Second star coming back again. Everybody start to clap for me. I want to say thanks to Pulse Media Group for kicking us off, sponsoring this initial segment of the show. When being in the moment is priceless, Pulse Media Group is the people you want to get in touch with. 754-999-6020. PulseEMG.com.
Second star right now, the thing turn up. I touch Jamaica and the whole place turn up. I touch Canada and the whole place turn up. I touch Miami and the whole place turn up. I'm a home TNT and the whole city turn up. Anywhere that I go and the whole place turn up. London, England, well they know that we turn up. I come from a humble place, ghetto where superstars are made. Hear me? Everybody start to clap for me. Second star coming back again. Everybody start to clap for me. Second star coming back. Show love to me. I give the people them all of me love. I give the people them all of me trust. I give the people them my loyalty. That's why they show love to me right now. Getting nice, watch how I change up my lifestyle. Tell Caribbean their life. Man, I'm flyer than you pay. Yeah, right now getting nice, watch how I change up my lifestyle. People keep me with their smiles. Everywhere they know me name. Well, everybody let me start mash it up. Touch a big stage, touch a big show, mash it up. Everybody come true, cause they know I mash it up. Every place that we go, every festival show, and the people don't know. Cause I me come to mash up the place. Me come to make people wave. Make people get mad and full of vibes. Put your hand in the sky, yes. Everybody start to clap for me. Second star coming back again. Everybody start to clap for me. Second star coming back again. Everybody start to clap for me.
Wanna reach out to, prayers still going out for the people who are affected by Hurricane Michael. As of about 2 hours ago. Michael was about 20 miles southwest of Albany, Georgia, and had the wind speeds have slowed down to about 100 miles per hour. But earlier today, it hit Mexico Beach with maximum sustained winds at 155 miles per hour. Understand this, people. At 156 miles per hour, it's a category 5 storm. Tongue tied. So, what is there to really say that at the time when Michael hit landfall, it really wasn't a Category 5? Although a weak Category 5. 155 miles per hour, however, is nothing to scoff about, you know? You can't shrug your shoulders at 155 miles per hour winds. The National Hurricane Center described Michael as potentially catastrophic. Really? You think? Debris was strewn across miles of Florida's coastline. Roofs and awnings peeled back from buildings. Pieces of homes scattered amid snapped trees and downed power lines. Chunks of beaches were washed away. The Gaddesden County Sheriff's Office said one person was killed by a falling tree during the storm. Curious. Where was this one person when that tree fell? Was that person holding on to the tree? Were they in a building? In a car? Where would this one person have been during the time that this tree fell? The other question really is, why were they there? That's crazy to me, you know. But hey, that's just me. Who am I? So the track is called Lifestyle. And in Real Talk tonight, that's what we're talking about. Lifestyles. Specifically, alternate lifestyles. Oh, just before I get into the alternate lifestyles, the National Hurricane Council said in its latest advisory that Hurricane Michael is now a Category 1 storm with maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour. So that is a good thing. But that was the update as of about 8 o'clock, 8:30 thereabouts. As the storm moves along, we want to lift up the people who are in the Carolinas in prayer, because they just had some major flooding after Florence rolled through, right? So they had flooding from Florence, and here comes Michael saying, hey, I got a little something for you. Not cool, right? But North and South Carolina, people in the areas of, what's that, Charleston, Columbia, around in that area, I think Raleigh would be okay. Southern Virginia may get some rain, but it can't be fun. It can't be fun. So I encourage y'all to just keep prayers going up for victims of Hurricane Michael over the west coast of Florida into southern Georgia into the Carolinas. All right, so we're talking about alternative lifestyles tonight. And oh, numbers to call, numbers to text. Let me give that out real quick. 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839 gets you in touch. And of course, the Stew Pot is available, aka the chat room, kevinstew.com. Jump on in, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, so an alternative lifestyle is one diverse in respect to mainstream lifestyles, or generally perceived to be outside the cultural norm. Now remember, things that fall into the norm pretty much are things that 51% of the population are okay with. So if 49% of the population is doing something, they're doing something alternative. That's outside of the norm. Lifestyle is a media culture derived from the concept of style in art. Usually, but not always, it implies an affinity or identification within some matching subculture. Some people with alternative lifestyles mix elements from various subcultures, like grunge musicians were often influenced by a mixed culture of the pop and hippie and the emo and heavy metal subcultures. It's a little bit of a mix-up. Now, not all minority lifestyles are considered to be alternative. So the term tends to apply to newer forms of lifestyle, often based upon enlarged freedoms, especially in the sphere of social styles, or a decision to substitute another approach, or not to follow the usual expected path in most societies. Alternative lifestyles and subcultures originated back in the 1920s with the flapper movement. And this was when women cut their hair and and skirts short. And this was a symbol of freedom from oppression and the old way of living. Women in the flapper age were the first large group of females to practice premarital sex, dancing, cursing, and driving in modern America without scandal following them. A Stanford University cooperative house, Synergy, was founded in 1972 with the theme of exploring alternative lifestyles. Now, there are some examples of alternative lifestyles, or what would be considered by some to be alternative. And we're going to look at a couple of them as we go through the night. We're going to look at a few of them. I shouldn't say a couple, because a couple is two, right? Yeah, we're going to look at a few of them as we go through the night. And I encourage you to share if something appeals to you or something raises a question for you. Maybe we can work it out together. Maybe I can find some information to answer your questions. Whichever way, I encourage you to be a part of the show. I rule the cutting of the hair by women, but I'm fine with the cutting short of the skirts. Ah, I understand, Marlon. I understand completely. However, short hair, long hair, as long as you were born a female and remain a female, for me, you are fine. You can do long skirt, short skirt, no skirt, blouse and skirt, any skirt. I don't mind. Alright? Alright. So, here are some alternatives as they're considered by some. You have alternative child rearing, which include things like homeschooling, co-parenting, and home births. Yeah, I did say co-parenting because the norm would be for both parents to be there for the child, or at least something close to that. I'm getting messages here, but not seeing anything relating to the show. Okay, cool. That's fine. We'll work through it. 773-789-STEW, 773-789-7839. So, some what would be considered controversial parenting methods would include things like swaddling. Hmm? Yeah, swaddling. Oh, you don't mind either, but you have your preferences. I'm fine with that. I can work with that. Not mad at you at all, bro. So, swaddling, the controversy is, you know the age-old art of wrapping baby in a receiving blanket like a burrito. Well, there are some people that think that it is hazardous for the baby. And critics say swaddling could cause problems, including hip dysplasia and overheating and inability to wake when necessary. What is not so bad about it is some new parents swear swaddling helps the baby to sleep longer. There's one that says she may be less likely to startle herself awake when her arms can't flail. And the International Hip Dysplasia Institute says the practice is okay as long as you're doing it correctly. Don't wrap your little burrito's legs too tightly. Simple as that. Kim E says, with my first daughter, swaddling made a huge difference. She'd sleep for 3 hours at a time while swaddled, and no more than 30 minutes at a time without the swaddle. I think it is so cool if you know how to do it the right way. And I remember my sons being babies and getting swaddled. And the first time I asked about it, they said, well, the babies like that close feeling. So that feeling of that blanket wrapped close tightly around them, it reminds them of the environment they were just coming out of. Inside the womb, they're wrapped tightly. So it's a position that they're not unfamiliar with. It's just that you're seeing it. So you know how as we get older, as people, we start to form opinions and ideas about things. That's one of them. Next on the list, as it relates to controversial parenting methods, is a Ferber method. And this, as according to author Richard Ferber of Solve Your Child's Sleep Problems, is probably the best known for advising parents to let baby cry it out. And this is to help them sleep through the night. Critics say leaving the baby alone to cry without comforting them is cruel and could be emotionally scarring. Well, what is not so bad about it is Ferber actually endorses controlled crying, allowing the child to cry for short periods of time, but not until they fall asleep or all night long. The idea is that babies naturally wake periodically at night. If you want yours to go to sleep through the night, Ferber says they'll need to learn to fall back asleep without being rocked, fed, or sang to. And they can learn to do that without practice. They cannot learn to do that without practice. Now, while the method isn't for everyone, a lot of people say, hey, you know, this thing work. I, for one, will say, this thing works. Okay, what do you mean it works? It works because it helps that child to develop a sense of independence. Ah, you never looked at it that way, did you? Well, there is also free range parenting. Now, free range kids author Lenore Skenazy came under fire after writing that she let her 9-year-old ride the subway by himself. The question is, how could she put him in harm's way like that? And some publications even dubbed her America's worst mom. Stick a pin. Before I get into the what's not so bad about this. At age, I would say, I can remember as far as second grade. In the second grade, I have to check backwards now. So I started high school at age 10 after graduating grade 5. So I was 10 in grade 5, 9 in grade 4, 8 in grade 3. So I was 7 in grade 2. So from the age of 7, I was walking and taking the bus by myself to go to school. From the age of 7. So, let's look at what's not so bad about the free range child. Skenazy breaks down the facts. Child abduction is devastating but extremely rare, I guess, at the time. Worried parents might want to look to her book's stats to help them realize that hovering over kids doesn't prevent bad things from happening. And most of the things they worry about aren't really worth stressing over. Giving children choices and independence help them learn to be responsible, says Skenazy. Jen F says, I read the book last summer and loved it. So did my husband. I definitely identify with the concept of free range. Listen. There are certain key things that as adults and parents we should teach our children. Some of those things being and run along the lines of teaching them how to identify a good situation from a bad situation. Helpful people from creeps, basically. And because we have moved away from the whole idea of the village raising the child, we end up in some of these problems. But I say, my opinion is, we can let these children be children without too much worry. Now, yes, some things have gone awry as it relates to our community. There are some people in our community, or more people in our community, that are more harmful than helpful when it comes to our children. But does that mean that we have to start hovering over our children? Another one of the things as it relates to controversial parenting methods is resources for infant educators. This was made famous by some A-list parents who follow its teachings. Tobey Maguire, Penelope Cruz, Felicity Hoffman. These are listed as some of them, supposedly. Now, RIE's resources for infant educators Their more challenged teachings include no tummy time, no fancy toys, and not pushing your child in a stroller before they can sit up on their own. Sounds kind of cold? Yes? Well, what's not so bad about it is the basic principle is to let your child learn to discover things at their own pace. So, not forcing them into tummy time or into sitting upright before they're ready makes sense to a lot of parents. Also, letting the baby play with pots and pans and spoons instead of overpriced, noisy toys with flashing lights isn't just easy on the wallet, but it's creative. Now, looking at that, when I think about it, I didn't have a lot of fancy toys either. In fact, one of my most favorite things to play with was pretty ingenious. It was an introduction to robots. And little did I know then that that's exactly what it was, an introduction to robotics. It was, excuse me, having a thread reel. Back then, I was called a cotton reel. So it's a thread reel, an elastic band, a piece of wax candle, and a stick or matchstick. And I guess the wax candle was optional because you could just use another stick or matchstick. And what you would do is run the elastic band through the middle of the thread reel. Stick on either end. The longer stick, so one is longer than the other, would really be the motor. Well, the combination of that and the elastic band would be the motor. You put it down, you just really wind up the elastic band. You put it down on the ground. The stick rolls over and hits the ground. And now, because the stick can't go any further, the elastic band has to unwind. In the process of the elastic band unwinding, it would propel the cotton reel, the thread reel. So that was an introduction to robotics because that was a simple robot. It wasn't a battery operated robot or anything like that. It wasn't an electric robot, but it was simple mechanics in the form of knowing what pulleys are or pushes are. And that was one thing I really took for granted. I thought it was a poor kid's toy. But children today getting something like that to make come under the umbrella of either STEM or STEAM. And you're paying in excess of about $50 for a package to do that one thing. So, what say you? Another thing was wheel and wire. And my house suffered the wire hangers in my house suffered the demise of being pulled apart to make a toy for me and my cousins and my neighbors. Not to mention the garden hoses that I don't even know how they got damaged, but suddenly became available. It was as simple as a piece of stick, a piece of garden hose. You stick the stick in one end, you stick the stick in the other end, connect the two ends, you get a wheel. Boom, that part is taken care of. And then you grab a wire hanger and you undo the hanger. And then you bend it in certain angles so that it kind of forms a U at the end. And the garden hose wheel, you use the wire hanger to push the garden hose wheel, And that became your vehicle, wheel and wire. And the amount of fun we had as children with these things, can you find that anywhere today? Not to mention box trucks. Trucks being made, vehicles being made out of drink cartons, box cartons, with matchsticks or sticks and bottle stoppers, bottle covers. And I say it this way for the people that are not Jamaican, so that they can really get a mental image of some of the things I'm talking about. That is what some of these people are talking about. Not the fancy toys. And looking back, I want some of those toys back. For real. For one, it'll get your kids to play outside. Back then, the problem that parents had with my generation was getting us to come back inside. Now it has flipped. We have a problem getting our children to go outside. Oh, 25 minutes to the top of the hour. I rambled on a little bit there. Let me take a quick little break. When we come back, we'll talk some more about alternate lifestyles. And we'll look at some other things as they fall under the umbrella of alternate lifestyles. We'll be right back after these messages.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
Are you crazy about the music industry? You aspire to hit it big in music? Or maybe you've sweated out a soulful killer beat and are now stuck finding it's not as easy as it looked. Oh, but it can be easy for you with JTMC. We've been there. We know how it feels. So we solve challenges like production, promotion, marketing, branding and development, and more. With over 30 years of experience, JTMC is a one-stop shop for artists. We handle your graphic design, writing services, PR, as well as event planning, e-blasts, artist management, and bookings, so also your website and social media needs as well. We're experts in using creativity to persuade audiences on behalf of artists, drawing on our diverse experience to create projects that connect with audiences intellectually and emotionally. Artist success is everything to us, and our years of experience and commitment will be behind you for every one of your needs. If you've got music for the world to hear, whether you're a new or established artist, visit us at jtmcenterprise.com.
Roll out with Island Rock Music and have fun. Check out the quality apparel at islandrockmusic.com. Designed for you and your crew. Hear the music, feel the breeze, with selected tracks and more. Available now from the online store at islandrockmusic.com. islandrockmusic.com. Log on today and ride with us.
Stepping, these are roots vibration. Stepping.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Hi, this is Cara Manti, and you're listening to DJ Kevin Stew, and this is The Night Shift.
Yo, yo, it's your boy Frano. Yo, yo, yeah. Remember how the lick of it, yo. Now tear up clothes, I run up and down. Sunday evening time, Ghana ball girl. We never have no troubles. I just fear fun. Reflecting on my life, reflecting. I'm on the good old days. Yeah. Things are hard, but the simple things in life, they got us to the face. I know money not fame can wipe those memories. We can pray for those days. No money not fame can wipe those memories. Sitting down on my couch reminiscing, thinking about the good old days that we missing. We catch in the outside kitchen and we used to go a river, but catch perch and janga, and then we catch a fire and run a boat with sauce of long food and flour. We used to wash our clothes and dry them from big stones, and then we swim all day till we hide them when we had wrinkle up like prawns. Yeah. Reflecting on my life, I'm thinking about the good old days. Yeah. You can wipe those memories. We can pray for those days. No money now, you can wipe those memories. We used to play rubber ball cricket, 3 pieces of bamboo stick, make the wicket. The bat them a coconut bunker, use make it if you LBW the umpire juke it on. I remember when we used to spend our homemade gig them in St. Catherine. Yeah. I remember.
Hey Marlon, you remember gigs?
In a clean white sun in a Tobe. Yeah. And I remember Sunday dinner, chicken, rice and peas, carrot, Kingston Square, had a little milk and Guinness. Yeah. I remember sitting in the trains, eating star apple and chilling in the cool Jamaican breeze. Reflecting on my life, I'm thinking about the good old days. Yeah. Things are hard, but the simple things in life, they got us to the face. I know money now, you can wipe those memories.
If you're just tuning into the show, welcome. Happy hump day to you.
No money now, you can wipe those memories.
It's a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. This is where we wrap up the night shift week, and tonight we're talking about alternate lifestyles. The sound of Frano playing in the background, a track called Good Old Days. Because no money nor fame can wipe those memories. Thank you, Frano. Alright, so continuing going down the list, we looked at alternative child rearing. And, I want to say thank you to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment. Bringing music to life. GMAT Music Solution can provide you with sound, light, stage production services, musical equipment, DJs, bands, musicians, engineers, You name it. GMAC can give you the hookup. 754-307-4622 is the number to use to call them for 754-307-GMAC. And you can also look them up on gmacmusicsolutions.com. So thank you over there to the guys at GMAC Music Solutions. Much respect. When you call them, tell them that DJ Kevin Stew sent you. All right? Cool. So, going down the list, there is also alternative dieting. Things like veganism and vegetarianism and freeganism or raw foodism, all kind of isms. And it's probably because of some of these isms that Mr. Vegas put out that album Ism. I don't know. But there are some alternative dietary lifestyles that are considered to be the more popular ones. And really and truly, once you've begun your nutrition science career, for those who want to be nutritionists, you'll find that people think of diet as a dirty word. You ever hear some people mention diet and you start talking diet and it's like Moses parting the Red Sea. People just start separating and giving you away because nobody wants to really get into it and nobody wants to deal with it. And then you have the others that really engrossed in it, but they don't do it. Alright, so it's frequently associated, the word diet is associated with depriving oneself for the sake of weight loss as a means of correcting an imbalance like high cholesterol or diabetes. Diet really simply refers to the kind of food that you eat. And it's a synonym of nourishment. So rather than thinking of dieting as deprivation, think of it as a means for feeling and being healthier. Health experts agree that there's a nutrition-based science behind taking care of our bodies, and it requires our continuous dedication. On the other hand, we are also inundated with fad pill based diets. Yeah, you know the ones. You want to really avoid those as much as you can. Because the quick fix thing, that's just going to take money away from you. That's basically what that is. But one thing is certain. A typical diet in the US is loaded with processed foods. That's your typical regular eating habit. It's loaded with processed foods, high-fat dairy products, red meats, and sugars. Remember, we were talking about these things last night? Oh, yeah, it was last night. Yeah. Well, all of these things in concert can pave the way to an early grave. We already established that. We are aware of that. At minimum, you'd end up with a lot of health problems. Now, whether you're looking into a nutrition degree program or as a seasoned veteran, it's either way, it's important to expand your knowledge of long-term dietary lifestyles and preferences. And some of those lifestyles include things like the Mediterranean diet. And the inhabitants around the Mediterranean Sea are vaunted for their long lifespans and low rates of cancer and cardiovascular ailments. Why? Because their diet tends to be low in red meat, sugar, and saturated fat. Instead, they eat a lot of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, legumes, olive oil, and flavorful herbs and spices. Seafood is preferred over other types of meat. And there's a moderate enjoyment of eggs, cheese, yogurt that is encouraged. Sweets and red meat, those are for special occasions. But red wine and exercise, every day. Yeah, believe it or not, red wine and exercise, big part of their lifestyle. Then you have the Weight Watchers diet. And that's the ultimate brand name in structured weight loss oriented diets. It has been around from the 1960s, and it boasts a legion of enthusiastic followers. The cornerstone of this program is the points system. Every food is allotted a certain number of points, and you're allowed to eat a certain number of points each day. The system is designed to achieve a calorie deficit of 1,000 calories a day, meaning you lose 2 pounds a week if you're faithful and stick with tracking your points. No foods are off limits. And Weight Watchers website catalogs 40,000 foods with their point values. No points for fiber-loaded fruits and veggies. High points for things like candy. Now, the biggest benefit of Weight Watchers is a support network. Hence, the lifestyle, because you need to have a few people well involved for it to become a lifestyle. So, the biggest benefit is a support network. And it encourages members to attend in-person meetings a few times a month. Now, of course, this is how companies make money. A monthly pass to attend unlimited in-person meetings is about $40, which includes access to their e-tools, or you can pay as you go, and that would be like $12 to $15 per meeting, and registration fee of $20. And that will, if you want to follow meetings online, then you get a 3-month plan, and the whole details of it you can find. But that's one of the lifestyles, the dietary lifestyles that's big out there in the US. Then you have the Mayo Clinic diet, and that's developed by one of the country's leading medical groups, and is focused on breaking bad habits and picking up good ones. Now, for the first 2 weeks of this diet, the book instructs you to focus on the 15 key habits that are outlined by the authors. And these habits direct you to restrict certain foods and allow unlimited snacking on fruits and vegetables. So that's another lifestyle. And then you have your vegetarianism. And that's pretty simple, because that's when you stop eating meat. And this diet allows you to lose weight and fend off chronic diseases. Now, of course, some non-healthy items like French fries, birthday cake, ice cream, and they're perfectly compatible with a vegetarian diet. It's just up to you to make good choices. Veganism, or a vegan diet, really means you do not eat any animal products. And this one is touted as the more hardcore version of the vegetarian diet. And it's more of a philosophy or lifestyle than a diet. Vegans are often animal rights activists and do not eat meat, eggs, dairy, or any food made with lard. Nothing with whey either, or jello, because that's gelatin made from animal bones and hooves. True veganism, that requires planning and commitment. Now, another lifestyle is volumetrics. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of that. And that is where people tend to eat the same weight, literal poundage, the same weight of food each day, regardless of the number of calories. So it's along the lines of a pound of low-density carrots, which contains as many calories as an ounce of high-density peanuts. So if you fill your plate with foods that are low-energy dense, in other words, they have fewer calories per gram, then you'll be eating fewer calories without eating less food. So it's smart swapping. Like substituting sweet potatoes for white potatoes. Smart swapping. It's more of an eating pattern than a structured diet. Then you have Jenny Craig, which is closer to the structured diet than an alternative dietary lifestyle. Then you have the Biggest Loser diet, trading on the popularity of the Biggest Loser TV show. And this diet encourages you to fill up on fruits, vegetables, lean protein, whole grains, and practice portion control, and to use a food journal. And you make sure you get in regular exercise. This diet doesn't ban any food groups, and there's an abundance of recipes. So there are things you can do with it. Another one is your Ornish diet. Now, Dean Ornish details a guide to achieve any goal, whether it's weight loss or reversing chronic disease. He's a professor of medicine at the University of California, San Francisco. And really and truly, his method advocates responsible food choices, exercise, stress management, and seeking support from loved ones. So it's all encompassing. That's lifestyle kind of stuff. Then you have your Atkins diet. And this is another one of those well-known diets. Because everybody knows Atkins, and they talk Atkins and Ray. So, but the science behind this, they say, is simple. Carbs fuel the body. And if you restrict carbs, then the body will feast on stored fat, which is kind of what you want the body to do if you have excess fat. So, feel free to eat a burger dripping with fat and melted cheese, but do it without the bun. Atkins now has proven to help people lose weight initially, but studies have shown that the effect, excuse me, is diuretic. You're losing water, not fat. So, again, lifestyle. There is also the paleo diet. And it's one that focuses on processed foods and carb-obsessed eating patterns that weren't things that cave dwellers and had access to. So they want to go back to the roots kind of eating. So if a caveman didn't eat it, you shouldn't eat it. No refined sugars, dairy, legumes, grains. Your entire plate should be filled with meat, fish, poultry, fruits, and vegetables. From one extreme to the other. No meat to all meat. Now, there are two interesting diets that were in the list that I had never heard about until I came across this information. One being the DASH diet. And this one was developed by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute. And it's a simple guide to smart eating. You emphasize the foods that you know are good for you, and you cut back on calorie and fat-laden sweets and red meat, while keeping an eye on salt consumption. Sounds simple enough, right? And there is the US government-endorsed TLC diet. And this was created by the National Institutes of Health's National Cholesterol Education Program. The TLC stands for Therapeutic Lifestyle Changes. And it has been also endorsed by the American Heart Association as a heart-healthy regimen to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease. This one, you cut back on fat, particularly saturated fat, and you eat more fiber. And it was developed to control cholesterol. more than for weight loss. Sounds simple enough, right? Does it sound like something that you've been doing all along without even thinking about it? Any of these things you subscribe to, they're alternative diets. Did you always think of it that way? Or no? A minute to the top of the hour. Time for another break, pretty much. So, we're gonna jump into this break, and when we come back, greetings 806, and big ups to you 441. When we come back, we're gonna talk some more. But for now, we're gonna jump into this break. We'll be right back. Thanks again to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment. We're gonna move into the JTMC sponsored segment in just a few minutes.
We're off to an early start for a long hot summer, but beat the heat with a dash of lemongrass refresher. This cool thirst quencher is a low sugar beverage made from the fevergrass plant, which has antioxidants, several wellness properties, and is a great lifestyle drink for all ages. Ah, that hits the spot. It's a new great taste. Have one today. Dash Lemongrass Refresher, distributed by Carib Atlantic Distributors. Call 954-614-0919. That's 954-614-0919. Life's a dash. Live well.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift, radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Selassie DJ Kevin Stew.
Rastafari, man. We come to tell you the
welcome back to the show. This is Anna Cookie the Herbalist and Lee Scratch Perry. The track is called Ease.
Sunshine, blue sky, won't go away. All the love that make me happy, and here I'll stay. We come to tell you to feast. Cool up, please. And your manners and your orders in a times like these. Ease, cool up, please. And don't forget to pray in a times like these. Ease, cool up, please. And your manners and your orders in a times like these. Ease, cool up, please. And don't forget to pray in a times like these. Let it go down. Rastafari, Selassie, Cookie the Herbalist, Lee Scratch Perry, Mexican music, higher heights music.
Now there's also things like alternative medicine, which typically refers to herbal remedies as medication, herbalism, and it's a study of botany and the use of plants intended for medical purposes, or I should say more along the lines of medicinal purposes. Plants have been the basis for medical treatments through much of human history, and such traditional medicine is still widely practiced today. Funny how traditional medicine have become alternative medicine. But modern medicine makes use of many plant-derived compounds as a basis for evidence-based pharmaceutical drugs. And although phytotherapy may apply modern standards of effectiveness testing to herbs and medicines derived from natural resources, few high-quality clinical trials and standards for purity or dosage exist. The scope of herbal medicine is sometimes extended to include fungal and bee products, as well as minerals, shells, and other animal parts. Herbalism, not the way that we would quickly know it as, not what comes to mind immediately when you think of the herb, but unruly you are. Side note, just a message I received. I want to big ups to all those who are trying to go to bed right now and have not been able to do so. Big ups to you. Thank you for tuning in the quiet. So there's a term, phytomedicine. You ever heard it? Well, it also refers to the science of pathology and damage to plants, and the causes thereof, their manifestations, development, dissemination, methods of maintaining plant health, and measures used to control plant diseases and their causes. Herbal medicine is sometimes also used to refer to paraherbalism or phytotherapy, which is the alternative and pseudo-scientific practice of using extracts of plants and animal origin as supposed medicine or health-promoting agents. Phytotherapy differs from plant-derived medicines in standard pharmacology because it does not isolate and standardize the compounds from a given plant believed to be biologically active. It relies on the false belief that preserving the complexity of substances from a given plant with less processing is safer and potentially more effective. Well, there's no evidence that either condition applies. Herbal dietary supplements most often fall under this particular category. So you have your alternate medicine. Now, there's also your non-normative sexual lifestyles. And that includes things like BDSM and polyamory, swinging, and certain types of sexual fetishism or paraphilia. But one of the things that I had found really interesting with some of the lifestyles was when I came across the adherence to alternative spiritual and religious practices. And they got into things like vampirism and Wicca. Yeah, those are actual things. They're actual lifestyles. And the vampire lifestyle or vampire subculture has stemmed largely from the goth subculture. But it also incorporates some elements of sadomasochism subculture. The internet provides a prevalent forum for the subculture along with other media such as glossy magazines devoted to the topic. And active vampirism within the subculture includes both sanguinarian vampirism, which involves blood consumption, and psychic vampirism, whose practitioners believe they are drawing spiritual nourishment from auric or pranic energy. The vampire and Therian subcultures are related to the Otherkin community and are considered part of it by most Otherkin, but are culturally and historically distinct movements of their own despite some overlap in membership. Now, what is this Otherkin community? Well, they are also a subculture whose socially and spiritually identity as not entirely human. Some Otherkin claim that their identity is genetic, while others believe their identity derives from reincarnation, transspecies dysphoria of the soul, ancestry, or metaphor. Really interesting, isn't it? Otherkin largely identify as mythical creatures, with others identifying as creatures from fantasy or popular culture. Things like angels, demons, dragons, goats, elves, fairies, sprites, aliens, even cartoon characters. Oh, now you get more of an understanding. Many Otherkin believe in the existence of a multitude of parallel universes, and their belief in the existence of supernatural and sapient non-human beings is grounded in that idea. Right now you're thinking Marvel, right? Well, that's basically what I think too. It's just what I believe, Marvel, some Marvel characters, some Marvel movie, some Marvel comics thing. But who am I to say that this isn't real? People believe what they believe. So there's that, and there's also Wicca. And it's also termed pagan witchcraft, and is a contemporary pagan new religious movement. It was developed in England during the first half of the 20th century and was introduced to the public in 1954 by Gerald Gardner, a retired British civil servant. Now, Wicca draws upon a diverse set of ancient, pagan, and 20th century Hermetic motifs for its theological structure and its ritual practices. Wicca has no central authority. Its traditional core beliefs, principles, and practices were originally outlined in the 1940s and 1950s by Gardner and Doreen Valentine, both in published books as well as in secret written and oral teachings passed along to their initiates. There are many variations on the core structure, and the religion grows and evolves over time. It is divided into a number of diverse lineages, sects, and denominations, referred to as traditions, each with its own organizational structure and level of centralization. Now, due to its decentralized nature, there is some disagreement over what actually constitutes Wicca. And some traditions, collectively referred to as British traditional Wicca, strictly follow the initiatory lineage of Gardner and consider the term Wicca to apply only to similar traditions, but not to newer, eclectic traditions. Are you mind blown yet? When the religion first came to public attention, it was commonly called witchcraft. Gerald Gardner, the man regarded as the father of Wicca, referred to it as the craft of the wise and the witch cult, as it was called during the 1950s. Now, there's no evidence that he ever called it Wicca, although he did refer to the collective community of pagan witches as the Wicca. So, Wicca that we're talking about is with two C's, Wicca. He referred to it as the Wicca with one C. Why? I don't know. But as for the name of the religion, Wicca with two C's developed in Britain during the 1960s. It is not known who precisely invented the term in reference to the religion, although one possibility is that it might have been Gardner's rival, Charles Cardell, who was referring to it as the craft of the Wiccans by 1958. So this is not that old. The first recorded use of the word Wicca appears in 1962, and it has been popularized in the extent that several British practitioners founded a newsletter called The Wiccan in 1968. Now, where exactly these people are now and where they practice, I guess is centered around Britain somewhere in there. But alternative religion. So you have even religious minorities such as the Amish, and you have those along the anti-technology lifestyles. You have subcultures including lifestyle travelers and house trucking and new age traveling. People that live in unusual communities like communes and intentional communities, eco-villages, off the grid. Especially now that technology has become so much more advanced. There are people who say, listen, I want to have nothing to do with this. I'm going off the grid. And that is how they feel safe. And then you have the tiny house movement, the people that live in, I don't know, 12 by 12 houses in an effort to reduce the carbon footprint. All these are alternative lifestyles. And there are so many alternatives that you just have to scratch your head and decide to do the research to catch up on some of them. One of the things that I intend to look at is the LGBTQA plus is what I believe the whole terminology would be. Of course, I refer to it as the sexuality alphabet soup, or the sexual lifestyle alphabet soup. But I do believe that may not be so kosher. But that's the best way I can describe it. Because it has become a lifestyle that has been growing to the point where I'm wondering if the heterosexual lifestyle is more the minority than any of the alternative, what would have been considered the alternative lifestyles. It also lends the thought process to, all right, are these people tapping into their natural beliefs or their natural tendencies, or is it something that they have decided that they are being influenced into and buying into as they go along in life? Things that make you go, I wonder. Yeah. These are the things. But I this is just the tip of the iceberg. And of course, knowing me, knowing Real Talk, we're going to get into some more of it. Because that's what we do. 20 minutes after the hour. This is how we wrap up the night shift week. I want to thank you, each and everyone, for your participation this week. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for contributing in the ways that only you know that you can.
New version to rock the nation.
Thank you to JTMC Enterprises for sponsoring this segment. As we roll into our musical therapy.
Things you said you love, you're gonna
The sound of G-Mac.
can't last too long. The way you are shaking can't last too long. The way you're vibrating, lose. You're gonna lose. Things you said you love, you're gonna lose. Can't last too long. The way you are flirting can't last too long. The things you are doing, that's why I say lose. You're gonna lose. Things you say you love, you're gonna lose. You can't last too long. The way you are flirting, you can't last too long. The things you are doing, that's why I say lose. You're gonna lose. Things you say you love, you're gonna lose. Can't last too long. The way you are shaking can't last too long. The way you're vibrating, that's why I say lose. You're gonna lose. Things you say you love, flavor, got the sauce on, yeah. Anywhere you wanna go, just say the word and you know I'ma take you there. Oh, yeah. Cause you need somebody to remind you. If you feel lost, I will find you. Oh, I just wanna make you mine. So waste no time. Change your life. You and I will chase the skies and no limit. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. Oh yeah, girl, you got the moves, you got the juice, you got the flavor, got the sauce on, yeah.
This is on a King Charles.
Wanna go to say the word and you know I'ma take you.
The track is called Juice.
You need somebody to remind you. If you feel lost, I will find you. Oh, I just wanna make you mine. So if you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever.
This is on a Bingy Blaze. Track called Rasta Touch. The touch called Rasta track.
She a blaze, movie is fine, dinner is fine, but right now she need to unwind. It's touching time. She tell me say a touching.
Yeah, it's approaching that touching time.
House and money and vehicle. I mean she want to touch her. Some of her fancy things and take her on the world, but I mean she want to touch her. When we touch it's like rain and fall. I mean she want to touch her. A Rasta she want to touch her. Blind, she feel like she wanna fly. She never yet been so high. She's in love, she cannot deny. Oh me, oh my, oh me, oh my. Rasta I give her more than text. Stimulate her mind, body, soul, intellect. Take her to some place that she never been yet. Seen some things that she never seen yet. She said me want you bingy, trust me. She said me need you bingy, touch me. She said me want you bingy, trust me. She said me need you bingy, touch me. Some a come bring house and money and vehicle. Now me she want to touch her. Some want buy her fancy things and take her on the world, but a me she want to touch her. When me touch it's like rain and fall. And me she want to touch her. A Rasta she want to touch her. Oh yo, she on the food pan plate. Now bend down low, she want elevate. Blah 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 and them not penetrate. Now the Rasta pass you and she start celebrate. See what you see and do what you're doing. Some a
We have officially rolled into the Wake Up and Live sponsored segment.
Gonna be mine, your mind. If you got Paris and go spend up a time, chop the Mars like a goose stuff. I for this. Girl, I can fly you places now. Tell me where you wanna go. I'ma bring you anywhere you wanna go. Oh, girl, I can fly you places now. Tell me where you wanna go. I'ma bring you anywhere you wanna go. Hold on, make you take a trip go Egypt, really. She said Paradox, you're not easy. She a do everything to please me.
This is on a Paradox. The track is called Fly You.
You're not hard to deal with. And to hold your fat move on to feel it. Girl, your clothes and repeat it. Yeah, back in your bikini. Girl, I can fly you places now. Tell me where you wanna go. I'ma bring you anywhere you wanna go. Oh, girl, I can fly you places now. Tell me where you wanna go.
So I came across this tune by way of a friend.
Well, if you love me, girl, tell me no lie, no lie. Make you take a trip down to Dubai, go by.
And I was like, whoa,
Get ready for the time of your life.
this tune here is something else.
If I go over from now, girl, you're gonna be mine. Your mind, if you go Paris and go spend up a time, chop the Mars like a goose stuff. I for this. Girl, I can fly you places now. Tell me where you wanna go. I'ma bring you anywhere you wanna go. Oh, girl, I can fly you places now. Tell me where you wanna go. I'ma bring you anywhere you wanna go.
Watch my right pan already.
This is on a Duffy Magnum.
Come over me. Hold me so tight with the security. You give me everything you want, me sugar daddy. Independent and in nobody. Oh my God, oh it feels so good. My love for you, we have just rock the boat. We can't hold it.
What a tune.
We can't hold it.
Just the chorus alone.
I regular me up for ball. Oh, you touch me so good, B. So me know you are real G. My can't hold me a ball out. You touch me, turn me up for ball out.
Catch the verse coming up, right?
Oh, you touch me so good, B. I saw me
This is musical therapy.
give me this something when me want. Money enough up and this stuff up in a jar. Snake wine and balance and gone. Bobo wine and take away your man. Baby, I know you love all my wine. You know me up it, I'm lucky one time. You know me a diamond and I stop shine. The player with my heart, cause my part like mine. In your pants, your wallet print out a way. You make me put the big toe down a beer, baby. Me can't hold it. Baby, me can't hold it, me a ball out. I regular me up for ball out. Oh, you touch me so good, B. So me know you are real G. Me can't hold it, me a ball out. You touch me, turn me up for ball out. Oh, you touch me so good, B. I saw me know you are real G. Me like that feeling you come over me. Hold me so tight with the security. You give me everything you want, me sugar daddy. Independent and in nobody. Oh my God, oh it feels so good. My love for you, we have just rock the boat. I can't hold it, baby, me can't hold it. Me can't hold it, me a ball out. I regular me up for ball out. Oh, you touch me so good, B. So me know you are real G. Me can't hold it, me a ball out. You touch me, turn me up for ball out. Oh, you touch me so good, B. I said me know you are real G. Me
can't see it so clearly. Never ask for nothing yet, but if you're here, we could have it from the that you do it from me. That's all I really have to do.
25 minutes to the top of the hour.
The politicians feel we still a smile when him.
This is Alkaline.
The only thing we're afraid of fear, that shit scares me. That's why we go outside.
It's called Mirage.
Hey, but I know in life you never know. And I'm gonna take my time and use it. See the moment. With a link of my own, no I'm not your abundant. When we hit and I like a snake or up round it. Them can't stop my show, that one thing me know. Gunshot like your blood bedside if you ever hurt all my ego. Send me home, send ambassador road, send me Vincent Chico. Them a send me numbers, them too good. Them a send me buy few span people. Okay then, still I give them mayhem. One will beat the odds, I wonder what they gonna say then. We just have to say we no luck, we behind no railing. And even though we never meet the eye, we still a hailing. Sometimes I get so mad when I see gun bags. Hype and brag like them wicked and bad, yeah. Sometimes I say burn up them whole squad, but then my member said them think I brought them life sad. But I get so mad when I see gun bags. One like said them can't get them to attack, yeah. Sometimes I say burn up them whole squad, but then my member said them think I brought them never job. Them a grabbing on the Bobby. Grabbing on the Bobby.
This is massacre.
Them no love to see when get a youth to upgrade. Them must say them real a China enough me. Protect me and go get the bread and just a puff bread.
It's called crab in a barrel.
They fresh like me just there. Them know me think them just a act me know them most free. Yeah we there, but I no fear. I'ma tell you why them can't come close. Them chain man energy the most. When me that talk about grabbing on the Bobby, grabbing on the Bobby, yeah. Put the Bobby bitch. Show them now run over. Them a grabbing on the Bobby, the flag we go for it, the starting of the cabbage, yeah. The Bobby bitch. Show them now run over. Me no look friend, me a look better. Now ease up me foot never, me a put pressure on the gas. Till me rich like me a bush brother. Champagne, money a brain, I put weather. Could never sell out the thugs, Jenna forever. Them a fight me thing, but them not clever. Better them beg me a thing, me full of cheddar. Up them girls in them, now give the general a header. Your name quit, jumping on the beam man, I change here quick. Run up on the thing, we make the AK spit. Take a seat and watch greatness, cause them can't face it. Grabbing on the Bobby, grabbing on the Bobby, yeah. The Bobby bitch, show them now run over. Them a grabbing on the Bobby, the flag we go for it, the starting of the cabbage, yeah. The Bobby bitch, show them now run over. You see, mommy, I forgot you something.
22 minutes to the top of the hour. Bouncing out a little bit differently tonight. This is on the chaps. Mama don't cry.
Mama don't cry. Mama don't cry. Everything's so fine. Yeah, me upstairs, you do.
This is a WTTI rhythm.
Make it on my straight, touch you road, I me no care. Through the shadow of death, me no see no evil when my fear. Can't live without the money like inhale and exhale. Balenciaga, I beat a mood, a cup of fresh beer. Me never skip the line, me there, you humble and now wait for them. Get the knife and give me my slice of the ear. Anytime we reach it up, no feel like this, so we have to going. Up and we now, my time for loot, no other way. So, Mama don't cry, Mama don't cry, everything's so fine. I've tuned and punks on the radio, and I've couple more of fights. Mama don't cry, Mama don't cry, everything's so fine. Yeah, me upstairs, you do. See me even if me you cry. Mama don't know about me love, I like life. What day she call me and ask me if me alright. She attack me, could I hear the tiredness in her voice. It hurt me to me heart when me play back in my life. All the struggles when she face and all the fight when she fight for me. My brother and my sister them come have a life. But I swear, mommy, everything I go alright. I swear me I for buy the house and carry them for your drive. Please don't cry, Mama don't cry, everything's so fine. I've tuned up punk on the radio, and I've couple more fights. Mama don't cry, Mama don't cry, everything's so fine. Yeah, me upstairs, you do. See me even if me you are I don't know where you're supposed to be. Oh yeah. I don't know where you're supposed to be.
This is Danai Singleton. It's called Chill in Jamaica.
Have fun on the beach in no cheek. Can relax your body. Gotta hear it can lead. Time to one wipe and over one time. Come to make you your pot a bubble up. I just so say you're chill. And I'm not for yours, giving it a down. So we have to touch you on, so it's set when you roll with the young. Next morning, the beach with the sun, with your any in a hand. Real bad man, make you turn to Jamaica. You wanna love the island. Come to Jamaica, spend time with Jamaica.
Baby, they confuse me, yo, with that bomb bomb. But she get the guy where they send her money from London. She they see me like a Johnny just come.
18 minutes to the top of the hour.
This
is how we bounce into the night shift week this week.
Me I go chop up.
This is Mr. Easy.
As long as you give me.
It's called Leg Over.
Baby, make you know they rush me. I beg you, make you treat me with caution. Leg over. My baby, give me leg over. Hangover. Baby, she dey give me hangover. Hey, leg over. Oh no, make give me leg over. Hey, game over. She dey come give me game over. Hey, I dey confuse you, I dey confused when you turn around, baby. You dey make her confused. You do all like a Cameroon, mesmerize the boy and baby make her confused. Commando, you be commando, you dey command the boy, you the overload. Yeah, I no fit stand alone. I must call my guy before rendezvous. Yeah, I go chop all the washing, as long as you give me my passion. Baby, make you know they rush me. I beg you, make you treat me with caution. Leg over. My baby, give me leg over. Hangover. Baby, she dey give me hangover. Hey, leg over. Oh no, make give me leg over. Hey, game over. She dey come give me game over.
Give me everything. Make you my everything. Wine for you. You are both the master. Wine and walk on the thing. Climb and walk on the thing, girl. You want every man a sing. Time to get some of your loving. Champion, get your body wet like the ocean. Me, yourself, the picture.
Son of Movado.
For me in a slow motion. You used to live a life.
Fun the thing.
Girl, you what in a me real life, you what in a me jean. Either put in a me bed and take you out the magazine. You are the cream of the cup in the skin. You are me African queen. Girl, mine and one on the thing. Climb and one on the thing, girl. One on the thing. You are my everything, girl. Give me everything. I'll give you my everything, girl. Just one to your thing. You are both me heartstring, girl. Everywhere me go, you see every man attack. You are the light, not the deepest star. Wine make them have sleepless star. Them a tough skin, but you a tough heart. Jamaican girl, Missy girl in New York. UK girl, see them top the chart. Japanese girl, English them can't talk. I shall make them can't walk. Cause to go, them a go and them a wine in a shot. Move up your body and wine up your back. When you come over, line up your pass. Broke the place like glass. Give me everything, girl. Make you my everything, girl. Wine for the thing. You a stop me and sing, girl. Wine and go up on the thing. Climb and go up on the thing, girl. You walk every man a sing. Time to get some of your loving.
Every time I'm with you, my heart just keep a beat. And every time you're here with me, it's like you knock me off my feet. I am on fire, baby. Just enough. I'm fire.
This is the sound of Annette Brissett.
You're my water. Run, come put out my fire. Me love it when you call me baby.
Hey baby.
Me love it when you call me angel.
Fly over here, angel.
And I'm on tonight's your night.
773-789-7839. as we roll through the Wake Up and Live sponsored segment. So Rockwell joins us tomorrow, 7 a.m.
Me love it when you call me angel. Me love it when you call me on the phone.
Eastern time, that is.
Look up on fire, baby. On fire. For the moon. On fire, baby. Come cool me down. Come and put out my fire. I'm on fire. On fire, baby. Run, come cool me down. Come and put out my fire. Should have took 20. Should have took 20. Oh, every time I'm with you, my heart just keep a beat. Every time you're here with me, you like you knock me off my feet. You know I'm burning, baby. Just enough. I'm fire, baby. Run, come get you. Run, come and put out my fire. Say I'm on fire. Just burning love.
No way, no, not gonna lower mine for the money.
The sound of Angela Touche.
Through it all, I know the Lord will feed me. And
Haven't played this one in a while.
I am gonna stay godly only. Just run away.
A little blessing in the night before we roll on out. 12 minutes at the top of the hour. The track is called No Way.
Well, there's all you see. You don't care for people like me. Can't stand all the wealth you own. What did you do to help the poor? What's this you want me to do? No, I can't be like you. Can't alone my standards for you where gotta go to yourself. You have no power over me. No, not when you're lean. I serve the Almighty. He takes care of me. He gave me humility. Yeah, amidst poverty. And I work hard for bread. No, you'll never see me begging. No way, no, not gonna lower mine for the money. No way, no, through it all I know the Lord will feed me. Give me, I am gonna stay God's way only. Just run away, yeah. Recession is causing the pain. Now I can't get my pay. I will not despair. God is always here. Life is full of sadness. I wanna feel some gladness. I wanna go to heaven. Milk and honey for me, oh yes. Hold on, my friends. Even I roll down to the end. I know it's hard to face.
But be true, be yours in the end.
Satan wants you distracted. To leave the Lord for you one day. With a full pocket, no, to the devil, no, and no way, no, not gonna love man for the money. No way, no, do it all, I know the Lord will feed me. Give me, I am gonna stay God's way only. Run away. These are times that will test your faith. What would you do to survive?
For those who are in Fort Lauderdale,
Trust that
those that are in the Fort Lauderdale area, Margate, Coral Springs, North Lauderdale,
from the rich, do your best. God will do.
you can catch Angela Touche at Philadelphia SDA's anniversary celebrations On Saturday, I have October 13 at the Philadelphia SDA Church, 7664 Margate Boulevard. At 7664 Margate Boulevard, Margate, Florida, zip code 33063. I know I'll be there Saturday morning. Will you? Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. I want to encourage you to look out for your neighbors. And of course, your neighbors are not just the people that live near to you in your development. But with the advent of the internet and traveling, everybody that you come across is your neighbor. So whether you walk, ride, or drive, take the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, these are all your neighbors that you're passing by. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you. Catch you in the drive-by tomorrow. And of course, I'm back in full swing Monday, all being well, life being spared. It be the will of the Creator. 10 to midnight with Community and Finance, right after Marlon brings us Real Rockers. Bouncing out with some more nice grooves. You enjoying it? I know I am. This is Catalyst Crew. The track is called Woman.
Oh, ta 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 ta. Oh, yeah, girl. Ta 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 ta. Oh, 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 oh. Ta 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 ta. Oh, yeah.
For those of you that are new, it's a night shift where it's a movement. Yeah, hashtag it's a movement. A movement to have acceptance through enlightenment.
Pretty little dog like there's nobody like you. Lord, the way you're pretty, the Africa.
Happens Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 through midnight Eastern time.
To your toes and all of the intelligence to challenge the pros. When the evening comes and sunshine come, you're ready and illuminate. It's back where you see down, girl. You are foundation, no other one can start the show quite like you. Oh, woman, your heart is like a work of art to me, yeah. Queen by my side, you are a lioness, so truly. Fairer than 14 million stars, your light shine through, girl. Pretty little dog, there's nobody like you. I may respect every good quality where you own. Kind and caring angel to your bone. Righteous in your heart and soul, girl. You blow my mind, no joke. Masterpiece won't sell to any old bidder. Solid as a rock, your standard set higher. That's good MVP, you're the winner. Fulfill my pleasure now, girl. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Woman, your heart is like a work of art to me, yes. Queen by my side, you are a lioness, so truly. Fairer than 14 million stars, your light shine true, yes. Pretty little dog like there's nobody like you. Oh, ta 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 ta. Yeah, ta 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 ta. Oh, ta 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 ta. Woman, your heart is like a work of art to me, yes. Queen by my side, you are a lioness, feel good that there's nobody like you.
Last one to run, first to defend. The menace the sun. To me, he was a friend. Never wanted a penny more than the agreement. Yeah. Born and raised as a soldier, just sort of justice. Coming straight from the lineage of King David. To me, he was a hero. To some, he was their sorrow.
I also want to remind you that Saturday afternoon, October the 13th, down at VP Records at VP Distribution Center. There's the opportunity to meet and greet Beres Hammond. I know you don't want to miss that. For all the Bears fans out there.
There must be a place for the warriors who broke down the barriers to rest their souls. Must be a place that is warm for the buffalo soldiers coming in from the cold. Must be a place for the brave and the bold where the unsung hero stories are told.
So from 4 to 6 at VP Records Retail Store, 6022 Southwest 21st Street, Miramar. That's in Florida. 33023. You get to meet and greet and get a signed copy of the brand new Beres Hammond album, Never Ending. I want to send out condolences to Beres that lost his older brother this morning too.
They say you are a bad man, but oh, as for me, 1,000 times salute to a true warrior. Somebody tell me, where do the warriors go?
It's time for this warrior to get on out of here. I'm only gone for the night though, don't worry. And for the weekend. I'm back on Monday. Take care. Take care one and all. Ezra and Louis Culture rocking us out. Warrior Heaven. Peace, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, good evening, good night.
This goes out to all the warriors of the world. So many gone away.
Consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.